Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're shifting gears a bit. Instead of, quarterly reports or complex policy papers.
Yeah, we've got something a little different, more escapist.
Exactly. We're looking at a source stack that's all about getting away. We're taking a deep, critical look at one highly curated list. It's the definitive countdown of the 10 best countries to travel in 2025.
That's right. So for you, we're swapping market analysis for, geotourism trends. And our mission today, it goes way beyond just reading off a bucket list.
Yeah.
You really want to understand what this collection of top destinations actually reveals. I mean, it ranges from the volcanic extremes of Iceland all the way to the ancient bazaars of Turkey. What does that tell us about the mindset, the priorities, maybe even the spending habits of the modern traveler?
It's genuinely fascinating because when you look at the list, it's not obvious, is it?
Not at all.
It's this surprising blend of extremes. You've got these hyper-efficient, really regulated countries sitting right next to ancient civilizations driven by, pure hospitality.
Yeah.
So what connects Iceland, sitting there at number 1, to, say, Indonesia at number 4, or Japan, way down at number 10? It has to be more than just pretty pictures.
Definitely. And those common threads, they are essentially the hidden requirements, you could say, for global tourism success right now in the mid-2020s.
Okay.
We're seeing this really powerful consensus forming around destinations that offer two things at once: purpose and this kind of radical environmental clarity.
Purpose and clarity. Interesting.
Yeah, the old models of just, passive tourism lying on a beach, maybe some sightseeing, they seem to be getting replaced. There's a demand now for active, ethical engagement.
Okay, let's unpack this whole list then. Let's try and decode these patterns.
Yeah.
We should probably start with the most dominant theme, the one that really defines that top tier.
Right. The sheer number of high-ranking countries where sustainability and raw, unspoiled nature are the main draws. It's kind of staggering.
It really is.
This isn't just some niche market anymore. It feels like it's the engine driving high-end, aspirational travel now. The modern traveler is clearly prioritizing environmental impact, ethical stewardship that's factoring into where they choose to go.
I think that's a key insight, yeah. The highest ranking places aren't just lucky, they aren't just blessed with natural beauty. They seem to be actively investing in and promoting their green credentials.
Exactly.
So travelers are, in effect, paying a premium to minimize their footprint and to experience these authentic, preserved environments. And leading this whole charge, right at number 1, is Iceland, the land of fire and ice.
Yeah, the source material nails it, calls Iceland otherworldly, and it fits. This is a place defined by really dramatic, raw nature. You've got volcanoes, glaciers, the power of the waterfalls, those incredible black sand beaches. It genuinely feels like visiting somewhere untamed by humanity, where the geology is still active, still right there in front of you.
But isn't there a tension there?
Yeah.
I mean, the source does touch on this. Iceland's popularity exploded because of this unique beauty, yet it's a tiny, delicate ecosystem.
That's the crux of it.
So the crucial factor, the thing that seems to elevate Iceland above, eternal classics like Italy, it's got to be that unparalleled commitment to sustainability. It almost acts as a justification for making the journey itself.
Precisely. The source really emphasizes its status as one of the most sustainable countries globally. We're talking near total reliance on clean geothermal energy.
Right.
And that translates directly into the experience for you, the traveler. You can rent an electric car, power it with the very geology that creates the scenery you came to see. It connects that raw, dramatic nature with rigorous ethical stewardship.
So the appeal isn't just chasing the northern lights or soaking in the Blue Lagoon, although those are big draws.
It's the deeper comfort, maybe, knowing those experiences are backed up by robust, clean infrastructure. But I have to ask, does the list address the huge pressure of over-tourism? How does Iceland keep that feeling of pristine preservation when visitor numbers just keep climbing?
Yeah, that's the challenge. And that's where things like premium pricing come in and the focus on specific dispersed activities, while spots like the Blue Lagoon are, highly managed now.
Right, almost like theme parks.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But the overall strategy highlighted in the sources seems to be diversification, encouraging travel into the highlands, promoting more remote activities like glacial hiking, building these eco-friendly hotels that kind of blend into the landscape.
Okay.
Iceland is basically managing its scarcity to maintain its reputation. For clarity, for ethical purity, it's a masterclass, really, in controlled, high-value tourism.
Controlled, high value. I like that. That's a great takeaway.
Okay.
Moving down to number 2, we see a similar priority with New Zealand. dubbed the adventure capital of the world.
Here, the appeal seems rooted not just in raw preservation, but in the purity and accessibility of that environment.
Yeah, the source material gets quite poetic about New Zealand. It says the landscapes look like they were literally painted by the gods.
Ah,
And you can see why. You've got the dramatic, icy wilderness of the South Island glaciers, then contrasted with the almost subtropical warmth of the North Island beaches. It's definitely the year of eco-adventure there, hiking, bungee jumping, and critically, stargazing, apparently in the world's clearest, darkest skies.
I was really struck by how often the source used words like clarity and pristine, not just for New Zealand, but Switzerland later on too.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme.
This isn't just marketing talk for nice views, is it? It feels like a specific response to the polluted, maybe chaotic urban environments many travelers are trying to escape. We're literally paying a premium for clarity. Clarity in the air, clarity in the ethical policies, clarity in the night sky. That feels like the real insight here.
Absolutely. And New Zealand boosts that appeal by also being known as one of the safest and friendliest destinations on Earth. So that combination pristine environment plus hassle-free tranquility, that's a massive draw for the traveler who just needs a complete mental reset.
Okay, now let's pivot a bit, significantly actually. South Africa coming in at number 6. This represents a distinct type of sustainability focus, doesn't it? It's not just clean energy like Iceland. It's more like adventure blended with a clear sense of social and environmental purpose.
Yeah, South Africa offers that classic vibrant duality. You could be tracking lions in Kruger National Park at sunrise, having that raw, immediate wildlife encounter.
Amazing.
And then just a few hours later, you're tasting sophisticated world-class wines in Stellenbosch. It's this rapid shift between the wild and the refined.
But the source material really emphasizes that the country's deliberate focus on sustainable tourism is what makes it a top choice for 2025. This isn't geothermal sustainability, it's conservation sustainability.
Precisely. In South Africa, the traveler seems to be seeking adventure with a conscience. Your tourism dollars often directly feed into anti-poaching initiatives, community upliftment programs, conservation efforts, especially within those vast private reserves.
Right.
This appeals strongly to the traveler whose priority is knowing their trip actually contributes positively to the local ecology, the local economy. It's adventure with built-in accountability.
Okay, and we see this theme of pristine perfection and green transit continuing. Switzerland at number 8, Canada at number 5. Switzerland is defined by that curated, almost engineered sense of perfection, right? Snow-capped peaks, crystal clear lakes, these charming mountain villages that look like they're straight off a postcard.
Switzerland is where efficiency meets nature, perfectly packaged. The specific sustainable features highlighted are really critical for its ranking. You've got eco-friendly, energy-neutral hotels, and this big promotion of scenic train rides, the default way to get around. They leverage their fantastic public, clean infrastructure to deliver a high-quality environmental experience. And that explicit promise of the cleanest air you'll ever breathe. In this day and age, that's the ultimate luxury product.
So Switzerland is the controlled, maybe luxurious version of the eco experience. Canada, then, at number 5, offers almost the opposite. Sustainability through sheer scale.
Exactly. Canada is defined by space. Vast forests, mirror-like lakes, endless, immense mountain ranges. It just goes on forever.
Right.
Canada is explicitly called out as a top ecotourism destination because of that capacity for isolation. The scale allows for specific, large-scale nature activities that you just can't do elsewhere. Remote whale watching off British Columbia. Serious, multi-day hiking in Banff National Park. Chasing the northern lights, but in the extreme isolation of the Yukon. These are experiences only possible in huge, sparsely populated, and importantly, well-preserved natural landscapes. It caters specifically to the traveler seeking immense space, quiet isolation, maybe that feeling of being tiny against the forces of nature.
So when we look at this whole cluster,
Yeah.
Iceland, New Zealand, South Africa, Switzerland, Canada, the message is just undeniable, isn't it? The modern traveler demands verifiable environmental responsibility alongside the breathtaking beauty.
Yeah.
If a country isn't seriously focusing on clean energy or measurable preservation efforts or sophisticated eco-friendly transit, it seems like it simply can't break into that top tier anymore. The travelers search for clarity for purpose.
Hmm.
It's profoundly reshaping the destination landscape.
Okay, so if that first section was all about finding clarity and pristine nature, the second major trend we're seeing focuses on what we're calling fusion destinations.
Fusion destinations. Okay.
These are countries that don't just exist in the present or the past. They actively excel at blending ancient heritage with, cutting-edge modernity or new desirable lifestyle trends. And this appeals heavily to the contemporary traveler, including that rising group of digital nomads.
And Japan, coming in at number 10, feels like the absolute textbook example of this concept. The land of timeless beauty meets hyper-innovation.
It really is. That blend is their unique superpower, and it caters directly to the psychological needs of, say, the modern professional. You have the ultimate in futuristic train systems, just marvels of efficiency and technology and all this cutting-edge urban tech.
Right, the Shinkansen.
Exactly. Existing right alongside the ephemeral, traditional beauty of the cherry blossoms or the deeply rooted ritual of the tea ceremony. It's an experience that engages all your senses, mixing the historic and the hypermodern without any sense of conflict. It just works.
And that dynamic tension is what makes it so appealing, I think. The source highlights the duality really clearly. Tokyo is the chaotic, electric capital, neon lights, skyscrapers, sushi heaven, catering to that need for speed and excitement. But then the traveler can easily hop on a train, shift to Kyoto, and instantly be surrounded by centuries-old temples and structured ritual. It's like ancient spiritual discipline versus modern logistical speed side by side.
And this fusion, it extends to the natural experience too. The source mentions Hokkaido, right? Not just for skiing, but for that combination of snow festivals and these incredibly rejuvenating hot springs, the onsen.
Oh, yeah.
Japan manages to satisfy that desire for deep tradition and spiritual grounding, while simultaneously catering to the traveler who wants the fastest Wi-Fi, the most efficient transport, the highest level of seamless interaction on the planet. This fusion seems perfect for the professional suffering from burnout. They want to slow down mentally, but they still need that high-efficiency infrastructure.
That's a brilliant point. It's burnout relief, but with high-speed connectivity. Okay, now moving to number 4, Indonesia. We see a different kind of fusion here, less about speed maybe, and more about merging ancient physical attractions with a distinctly modern, mindful lifestyle.
Yes, Indonesia is a prime example of the spiritual and natural world meeting the digital economy, while Bali, of course, remains the undisputed crown jewel.
Still huge.
Oh, yeah. But the analysis suggests a really powerful trend for 2025. Travelers are actively venturing beyond the main island. They're heading to places like Komodo Island, the quieter reefs of Lombok, and the just unparalleled marine biodiversity of Raja Ampat.
And this movement away from the, let's face it, sometimes over-touristed center, and shows that same search for authenticity and preservation we talked about in Section 1.
It does.
But what makes it a fusion destination is the lifestyle factor.
Right. Exactly. The physical attractions are incredibly powerful: ancient temples, vibrant coral reefs, massive volcanoes. But the defining element for 2025 seems to be this lifestyle factor. The source explicitly names Indonesia as a key hub for digital nomads, for yoga practitioners, and basically anyone seeking a slower, more mindful lifestyle.
This is a deep economic insight, isn't it? It means the destination needs to support not just a week-long vacation, but maybe a month-long residency or longer.
That's right.
This requires robust, affordable, high-speed internet infrastructure, accessible visas. The country is winning because it allows visitors to actually live a mindful, spiritual, or adventurous life while still maintaining their modern professional obligations remotely.
The pace of life in Bali, for instance, combined with the whole spiritual infrastructure, the yoga retreats, the meditation centers, it provides the antidote to Western stress for many people. This fusion of place and pace appeals directly to a demographic that values well-being, sometimes above constant activity. The infrastructure itself is shifting, from just catering to short-term tourists to servicing longer-term remote workers, and that fundamentally changes the flow of money into the local economy.
So whether it's Japan blending ancient temples with high-speed trains for the efficient cultural seeker, or Indonesia blending coral reefs with digital nomadism for the mindful remote worker, these destinations are winning because they successfully catered to multiple sophisticated demographics at the same time. They let the traveler choose their own level of engagement with history and modernity. It proves adaptability is absolutely key to getting a top ranking.
Okay, so now we shift gears again. We move to the powerful anchors of the travel world, the countries that, well, they never really go out of style, do they?
The classics.
Exactly. These are the destinations where the appeal rests not necessarily on new tech innovation or untouched wilderness, but on deep historical roots, iconic art, and crucially unbeatable culinary tradition. They satisfy that fundamental human need for connection to the past and for sensory, emotional pleasure.
And topping this enduring category, coming in at number 3 overall, is Italy. The source describes Italy as eternal. And yeah, 2025 is no exception. Its consistent high ranking is down to that unmatched depth of art, culture, and especially cuisine.
Italy offers this immense depth of storytelling just through its geography, right? It connects the modern traveler to millennia of history. You've got Rome with the ruins that literally anchor Western civilization, Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance, Venice, that impossible city floating on water. Each place doesn't just display history, it tells a continuous narrative through its architecture and, critically, through its food.
Let's focus on the food for a second, because the source spends significant time here.
Yeah.
It uses that lovely, almost poetic phrase that every bite feels like poetry.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is. And it's not just about eating well, it's about the specific immersive experience. The source talks about the perfect, light, slightly charred crust of pizza in a family-run osteria in Naples. Or exploring these small, generations-old vineyards in Tuscany where the family actually welcomes you onto their land.
It's a total sensory immersion that feels effortless, probably because it is centuries in the making.
Okay.
But what truly makes Italy eternal, what the source seems to stress even above the physical landmarks, is the human element, the hospitality factor.
Yes, that detail. Italians make you feel like family wherever you go. That adds such a crucial layer of emotional connection that art and architecture alone just can't provide.
Absolutely.
Travel there isn't passive viewing. It's this embracing, personalized experience. And in a world that feels increasingly characterized by digital isolation, that warmth, that personalization, they're incredibly valuable amenities, aren't they?
It feels like the ultimate antidote to the impersonal nature of a lot of global travel today. That deep personal connection is what gives Italy its staying power, I think. And it justifies its position, even against the hyper-sustainable appeal of Iceland or New Zealand.
Now, contrast that warmth with Greece at number 9. It offers a slightly different flavor of history, doesn't it? Yeah. More mythical, maybe more escapist.
Yeah, Greece is defined by what the source calls the perfect mix of history, relaxation, and adventure. It seems to capture the traveler who's seeking both the intellectual weight of ancient history, the birthplace of democracy, philosophy, myth.
Right, the heavy stuff.
And also the pure, unadulterated escapism of the agency.
You get that beautiful juxtaposition.
Yeah.
The serious intellectual exploration of the ancient ruins in Athens, the Acropolis, balanced with the dazzling relaxation of the turquoise waters around the islands. The source points travelers not just to the big hotspots, but specifically to the golden beaches of Crete and those iconic caldera views in Santorini.
The sensory experience there is just profound. It's the visual aesthetic of the Cyclades, those iconic, narrow, whitewashed alleys, combined with the sheer weight of Western civilization. The source describes enjoying local wine at sunset there as literally stepping into a dream from another era.
Wow.
Greece really offers that feeling of being transported, doesn't it? Both historically and geographically, to a space of profound beauty and peace.
Okay, finally, let's bring in Turkey at number 7, which is the literal bridge between worlds, physically and culturally.
Turkey offers a unique geographical and cultural blend that very few other nations can claim. It sits right at the absolute confluence of civilizations. It offers something that feels simultaneously Eastern and Western, ancient and immediate. That depth of cultural layering makes it pretty irresistible.
The specific attractions mentioned really showcase this tension beautifully. You have the bustling, vibrant, almost sensory overload of the grand bazaars in Istanbul, which have been these huge commercial and cultural hubs for millennia.
Incredible places.
Contrasted with the absolutely surreal geological landscapes of Cappadocia.
Yeah.
A region defined by history, literally carved into these bizarre rock formations. The source calls Turkey a living storybook.
And its appeal relies heavily on that blend. Unique, diverse food, the majestic scale of Ottoman architecture, and echoing Italy's strength, world-class, generous hospitality. But the essential experience, the one that really captures the imagination for 2025, according to the source, is that visual spectacle of the hot air balloon ride over Cappadocia.
Ah, yes. That image is everywhere. hundreds of balloons floating silently over those bizarre sculpted valleys. The forest describes it as pure magic.
Yeah,
And that visual experience perfectly encapsulates the blend, doesn't it?
yeah.
Natural wonder and deep, accessible cultural activity that Turkey offers. It's an adventure, but one that almost requires contemplation.
So whether it's the poetic hospitality and culinary depth of Italy, or the mythological serenity and history of Greece, or the geographical blend and sheer magic of Turkey, these destinations prove that deep roots and exceptional, emotionally resonant sensory experiences will always secure a top spot. Always. #outro.
Right, so we've completed our deep dive into these 10 countries, and the synthesis of global travel trends for 2025, it feels crystal clear now.
Yeah, the entire ranking seems shaped by two powerful forces, and they often compete, don't they? First, there's that push for hyper-sustainability and eco-adventure, a clear demand for destinations offering purposeful, minimal impact travel, driven by countries like Iceland, New Zealand, Canada. That's the search for clarity and accountability.
And second, there's the enduring, frankly irreplaceable appeal of the classics, the ones that provide a deep sensory connection to history, art, food. These traditional powerhouses like Italy and Greece, often now successfully blended with modern demands like mindfulness or digital connectivity, like we saw with Indonesia and Japan, that's the search for emotional warmth and authenticity.
So the ultimate definition of a top travel destination in 2025. It's not just about natural beauty or historic artifacts on their own. It's about the verifiable purpose and the emotionally resonant experience it offers you. The sophisticated traveler is demanding destination infrastructure that supports both their environmental conscience and their desire for deep personal connection.
It really is about finding both escape and meaning in every single itinerary, isn't it?
Yeah.
The traveler wants to feel good about where they go and also why they go there.
Which leads us neatly to our final provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. As you contemplate this incredible list and what it means for the future of global movement,
Okay.
if Iceland represents the absolute ultimate in raw, preserved, sustainable nature demanding ethical stewardship, and Italy represents the eternal, hospitable, deeply cultured experience demanding emotional connection, how will the traveler's choice between these two distinct priorities ultimately shape the infrastructure of the global tourism industry?
That's a big question. Will the vast majority of investment flow towards the costly, rigorous protection of pristine, untouched wilderness, the kind needed to maintain that Icelandic appeal, or will the funding concentrate more on optimizing and personalizing the historical and cultural experience, ensuring that Italy's unique hospitality remains accessible yet high quality? The choices you make on your next trip, they're actually part of that profound global decision.
Something massive to mull over as you start packing your ethical travel gear. Or maybe just deciding which pasta shape you want to seek out first.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.